Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to start the show with a moment of silence. We have lost one of our viewers, one of our mods, one of our friends, very close to me and a lot of you. Joe passed away yesterday. It's heartbreaking. It's something we all got to face. It's part of life, but it is hard. Let's dedicate a moment of silence for him. Fortunately, it's hard. We lost someone we truly care for. Joe is definitely someone that's been here, been with us since the beginning and helping us along the way and showing us more of what's inside ourselves than outside. And over 20 years in the service for us, the U.S. military. So definitely appreciate his service and say prayers for his family as they go through this loss. A lot is happening around the world right now. Terrible things, hideous things. Here in the United States, they're trying to limit now any kind of assault weapon or any kind of weapons manufacturer is now going to be seeing a 20% tax under the new proposed legislation, basically raising the cost for American citizens to defend themselves. This is ridiculous that they're even trying to put a bill forward, the two pieces of legislation that target manufacturers of guns, impose a 20% tax on total revenue earned by the manufacturer. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Not only that, Biden, of course, with his perfect economy that we're supposed to be seeing and talking about, half of U.S. companies are preparing for major job cuts. Majority of U.S. companies implementing hiring freezes as economic outlook darkens today. Companies across the country are planning to scale back their headcounts after a year of frenzy of hiring. Sad but true. People are going to lose their jobs. According to a new survey published, which was polled more than 700 U.S. executives and board members from various industries, half of them responded saying they're preparing to reduce headcounts or have already reduced headcounts, while 52% have implied hiring freezes already. On top of that, roughly 46% of the companies are either dropping or reducing signing bonuses, which became commonplace over the past year. I don't have the flag up here right now, I don't think. Fortunately, you guys. Son, what's going to happen with America, though? Because this isn't going to increase the job numbers. Gas is going back up. Groceries are going back up. Job numbers, of course, are going down. We've obviously seen that. I mean, no matter what we're trying to face and what we're trying to say is actually happening, We can say whatever we want at this point. The fact is, America's had enough. The economy can no longer take the devastating toll it's being forced upon it. And it is truly a devastating toll. As we watch what's happening to Americans all around the country, at home and abroad, it's devastating, to say the least. Devastating. Americans are having to face lower incomes, more work for less pay. Everybody is, of course, facing these facts right now. It's just tragedy. It is literally a tragedy happening right in front of our eyes. There's nothing we can really do about it at this point. There's nothing we can do about it except for look forward and try to make the best of what we can. So I was trying to see if I had the flag background. I do not even have the flag background in my background folders right now. So speechless what's happening though. Speechless what is happening around America and what we're seeing happen. The drastic numbers of people entering food lines, having to not pay their or not having money to pay their rent. Expecting 1 out of every 5 Americans right now that are employed to be homeless by the end of the year. 1 out of 5 Americans to be homeless by the end of the year. And it's ridiculous. The Build Back Better bill was nothing but a Build Back Broke, pushing unemployment rates to a new height, even though the unemployment rate, the official unemployment number, is at a historical low. You can't say the truth is out there. I mean, the numbers is in the total number of employed U.S. citizens. When it's down below 30%, there's a serious issue. Meanwhile, the U.S. is pushing more money into Ukraine, another $700 million or $775 million package going to Ukraine, amongst Ukraine trying to bomb their own nuclear power plant. Literally. Russia refused to demilitarize the power plant because they have control of it. That's not a question. Russia has control of the power plant. Ukraine continues to bomb the power plant, dismissing calls to demilitarize a dangerous nuclear power plant in Europe. Of course, workers are there inside the plant still working. The plant is controlled by Russia right now. But it's horrifying and beyond common sense and morality. Constant shelling, ricocheting off the reactors, causing untold damage so far that we know about. Warning that if the attacks don't stop soon, nuclear fuel will begin melting, resulting in a release of radioactive substances to the environment. Russia's not attacking this plant. Russia has had this plant occupied for a few months now. The UN, of course, is trying to tell Russia to draw out of the plant and not to be in the plant anymore. Military equipment and personnel should withdraw from the plant and further deploy the forces or ground equipment sites must be avoided. Basically, he says the UN is trying to say, oh, well, we should just go ahead and give it back to Ukraine. That's what UN's saying. Give the power plant back to Ukraine. Let them handle it. It's a war. Vital resources are power, food, and goods. Without those, a country cannot survive. If we go into a country, we hit those first and foremost. Russia has more than 500 troops protecting it. Russia has whole platoons protecting this power plant. But can you imagine a Chernobyl style disaster all over Europe? That's what we're looking at. This power plant is 10 times the size of Chernobyl, has 6 huge reactors on the property. I mean, Ukraine has gone so far as to using aircraft to bomb it now. I mean, it's going to send a toxic cloud over much of Europe. It will damage, even minimally, everything. The plant can withstand extreme conditions, expected to withstand, but one thing or another, this plant is going to become dangerous. No one expected a prolonged military engagement in Ukraine, but the U.S. keeps funneling money, like another $700 million, $775 million, bringing their total to around $10,000 so far. And like I said, the UN is pushing and saying Russia must leave the power plant and warns against stealing Ukrainian power. Russia's already plans to turn off the plant. That's what their plans are, and they're doing it. They're shutting down the plant. There's no stopping it at this point. The UN is, of course, General told that Russian forces that they should leave the nuclear power plant and warned Russia against any attempts to steal Ukrainian electricity. The UN has no power. The UN was formed as a force to have open conversations between Russia and all the Russian states that broke apart. But Russia's planning to disconnect the nuclear power plant from the grid. Many workers at the power plant were ordered to stay home Friday, amid fears growing because of the attacks that Ukraine has been doing. Of course, Ukraine has warned that Russia may plan imminent attack at the power plant and seeks to blame it on Kiev. That's what Ukraine says. Ukraine says, "Oh, yes, Russia did attack Ukraine or Crimea, or Ukraine did attack Russia and Crimea," but they said, "Oh, well, Russia is going to have this insurgency plan to attack the power plant and blame it on Kiev when they've been bombarding it for weeks now. This isn't something new. Ukraine has been bombarding the power plant for weeks now. Moscow's plan is to disconnect the power plant from the power grid. Russian occupied plant is the largest in Europe. Russian occupied, with 2 countries trading blame over who was responsible for the attacks on the site in recent weeks. It's obviously Russia would not attack its own thing that they're holding. We're just printing money and handing it to Ukraine at this point. This is ridiculous, though. The U.S. and national news or international news still does not want to say that a Russian occupied power plant being attacked obviously is being attacked by Russia. Ukraine, because then they could point another finger at Russia. Ukraine has been bombing it. We know this repeatedly because we've seen it. We've seen everything going about there. Russia's planning to switch out the power plant and power blocks at the Zelensky plant, or Zilopolo plant, I can't even say it, and disconnect them from Ukraine's power grid. which would deny the country a majority of its energy sources as it's heading to winter. And that's Russia's fighting a war of attrition. That's what they have to do. They don't want to go and cause mass damages, then they have to fight a war of attrition. But if Russian occupying forces stop the power plant, what's going to stop Ukraine from just going in and just destroying it altogether? It's just sad. This is a thing that's not going to end anytime soon. It's going to keep building on us, and we're going to have to face the facts. I have a feeling this plant will get out of control very quick. I have a feeling somebody's going to end up blowing this power plant up, and we will be seeing massive amounts of damage. Yeah, some of the weapons are already found in Middle Eastern countries. That's all I'm going to say. Some of the weapons we have sent to Ukraine have already been found in Middle Eastern countries. So saying that this is a humanitarian problem, and we're saying we need to send money because Russia's attacking them, Russia's doing all this. We see Ukraine is attacking its own power plant. We know Russia has military vehicles inside the power plant. We know it has ready and launch capabilities inside the power plant. Ukraine is the one bombing the power plant at this point. You trusted Afghanistan, it's just full of the terrorists we were trying to get rid of. And China, of course, pushes further today in preparing for war. China is preparing for a very large scale armed conflict and quite soon. This is not a question of if or when, it's how big is it going to be. Of course, Chinese entrepreneurs are making a medical equipment for the consumers told local officials that he demanded his production lines in China so they could be used to turn out military items last month. A lot of factories that are not producing stuff for the US, like they said they were just no longer going to sell stuff to the US, are now being pushed to massively turn out items for the military. Moreover, Chinese academies privately say they're ongoing expulsions of foreign colleagues from Chinese universities appear to be preparing for hostility. This is actually happening right now. The People's Republic of China is preparing to go to war, and it's not trying to hide its efforts. Its amendment to national defense law, effectively the first day of last year, transferring power from civilian to military officials. We know it's coming. In general, the amendment reduces the role of central government and state council by shifting the power to the Communist Party's Central Military Commission. Specifically, state council will no longer supervise the mobility or mobilization of the People's Liberation Army. This is ongoing. We've seen more and more missile tests, of course, happening as this is coming forward. Missiles over Taiwan, of course, flying overhead. Again, People's Liberation Army is not backing down. I mean, they've lashed out at the U.S. 7th Fleet commanders being there. He added that, the 7th Fleet commander is complaining that it's irresponsible to launch a missile over Taiwan into international waters where shipping lanes are. where ships free shipping up or shipping operates. First of all, they're not launching them. They're still in China territorial waters, whether we want to agree with that or not. China's moving more to that state. But that's pretty much it for tonight, you guys. God bless you. Thank you for being here. A lot more coming tomorrow night. A lot more coming, but prepare because I don't know when China's going to hit. I don't know what's going to happen in Ukraine, but it's going to happen quick. And I have a feeling it'll be happening in the next couple of days or months. Hopefully, months, but I have a feeling days. God bless you all. God bless America. And please, if you guys can afford to donate, please do. We definitely need the donations to raise funds for Thanksgiving and Christmas. As you see, we're at a negative, and I haven't sent all the bills or showed you guys all the bills that we have for what we did for Easter. So every penny counts. Every dollar helps. God bless you. God bless America. Good night.